Now, the rest of the story.
Welcome back. I just got done changing all the filters on the 9770. And did a quick go over, looking over everything on it. Fired it up on the first try. We had it back in the corner back there. We got pulled straight in the machine shed door because easier for me to work on it. One thing I always look forward to is to make sure that both cameras are working, and they both are. Grateful for that. Those cables, I've actually had them fail before. I've had mice chew on them before, but I've actually had them also where they just, I don't know if it's something over from sitting, the ends on them act, I don't know. So after changed pretty much everything on here, engine, the fuel and oil, I did all three of the hydraulic filters, cab air filters, engine air filters, and by the time I got done going up and down the ladder about 20 times between grabbing parts and carrying oil back up, gonna fire it up, let it run for a little bit, and probably call it a night because I got to put everything back in the shed yet. The monitor, which has been living happily in the 7920 all summer, I'll probably end up throwing that in here tomorrow. I don't really see us wanting to use the 79 for guidance for anything between now and whenever, because at least we are in September. I'm behind a little bit, which it's not a deal at all, but we're behind just a little bit in regards to normally I had the combine out like mid to late August, and the story of the year has just been, it seems like we spent the last 2 months making hay, and we're just in the process of winding down some of the fields that just whatever we can get off of them is what we're going to get. So the grass down at the valley, I'm going to let that go as long as I can within reason. But like last year, I cut it the 10th of September, then it rained for 2 weeks. Well, every year before that, I was waiting until the 3rd or maybe the last week of September, and I was making it, but we also were, was it 2 or 3 years ago, where we were trying to actively cut beans when I was trying to haul hay in. What was it? I think it was Dale and my Uncle Kevin and myself hauled everything in that fall off the valley, which will go a lot quicker now because with being able to run 2 of the dolly wagons and then the flatbed trailer, even just running 1 skid steer back and forth, you're hauling in upwards up to over 20, and especially for a second cut down there and getting first crop cut so late, it isn't gonna yield much, but the hay quality I'm expecting to be there. I'm overly cautious because you turn the key, like with the deer steer and the 82 with combine, after you change the fuel filters, you don't pre-fill them. The 7920 you do, and that was new to me because it's the only machine I've ever really had to do that with. Priming it on the 7920, I was actually one of the things that stood out at school because I went to the John Deere Ag Technician program, and they said that for those tractors with those motors, you could prime it like 300 times with a hand pump before you'd actually get it to prime. So like, yes, by all means, make certain that you at least pre-fill the fuel filters, because even with them being pre-filled, you're talking like 200 to 300 times you're trying to use that hand pump. But as far as the combine goes, it's going to need a little bit more work than it did last year. I don't think it's really anything too major. Just conveyor chains is the big one, then belts, and I got to go through and I'm going to grease it. The whole machine, the cab isn't really too bad, but it's dirty. Don't see much point in washing it off, because when I'm playing with oil filters like I was, and you spill oil, falls down and gets soaked up by all that dirt and dust, which the combine was cleaned off by yours truly last Thanksgiving is when I did it. It just collects dust sitting in the shed over the winter, and when I go through and pressure wash it off, hopefully the oil is usually soaked up into the dirt and dust and everything. So it's been 4 minutes since I turned the key on. Let's try turning this over and hope that it starts. So if you guys want to listen to the motor run, if you can. Took off. It's mad at me. It did that last year and I about had heart failure. The main gear trace oil is low, oil pressure is low. It did it last year, and I asked the combine mechanic about it, and it's normal. But when you're not expecting it and you're trying to be extra cautious and extra careful and making sure you're doing everything perfect, especially when it's the first time you're servicing a machine, you're a little bit more anxious. But it's actually running nice. I don't see any fuel or oil flying up out of the engine compartment. That's about the biggest downside to this machine though. It's got the, is it Mauer? It's got the grain tank extensions on it, and we can't get in and out of the machine shed with them up. And it's a bear to put them up and lock them up, because you have to actually take out that prairie grain tank auger. If we didn't have to mess with that, it really probably wouldn't be that big of a deal to just fold them down quick and go, but I lied. It's still a pain in the butt. But then actually having to unbolt the U-bolts and drop that down, it's a two-person job. I mean, you could do it by yourself, but I kind of value my knees and my back, and there's no real decent place to stand back there. So sounds like the combine's running good. Be done with it for tonight. I'll check the engine oil levels again in the morning. I know I'll probably add a little bit, and I'm hoping we don't need to use this as soon as I'm worried that we may need to use it. I mean, if we could at least wait till after the 1st of October, I'd be fine with that. If we could literally drop in the first week of October, cut all of our beans, get all of our beans done between the three of us, be done mid-October, a little after, then go through and knock out all of my dad's corn and get the bins full, get Ryan's feed corn harvested, and then spin around and just drop in on everything that we're going to ship, because I'm okay with leaving it stand in the field. As far as letting the corn stand later, it's looking like everything's going to be drier sooner than it was last year. Alright, so I feel pretty good about that. The corn is looking like it's going to be drier than it was last year. It was because of those 2 weeks of rain last September on a late maturing crop, which was lack of moisture. All the plants kicked into overdrive with all that rain, and they produced. We were told that if we didn't get that 2 inches of rain, or 2 weeks of rain, we'd have been looking at like 170 bushel a acre average across pretty much everything. And for us, that's catastrophic, for the types of yields that we expect. So this year, if it's actually I don't even know what's average, or what's even average anymore, but if we're not dealing with 25% corn the 1st of November, that'd be great. So, well, I'm done with this. It's gonna get a bath. The cab needs to be cleaned out. It's got to be greased. It's got to get a bunch of parts thrown on it. Check all the oil levels and get it to where we're comfortable that when it comes time to use it, we can use it. Oh, I do need to get the soybean head up here. The sensors are off. If you guys saw my my combining bean video, my last one of the year, you could hear the monitor yelling at me like intermittently. it was because the sensor on the bean head was out of calibration, which we know what we got to deal with. We know how to calibrate it and all that. Just got to get the bean head up here and just do the calibration. So look forward to more fall videos. Looking if I can actually get the videos uploaded quicker. I mean, it sounds like our internet is going to be upgraded here before long, so I'm looking forward to that. Until next time, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.